in love to rising in love. And,
Mm-hmm.
our archetypal, fairy tales are all about falling in love. And somewhere along the
Right.
line, there's kind of a disaster that burns everybody out. And love, love doesn't
Yep.
necessarily win. And so we talk
Well,
about
think
that.
about the concept of falling, though. You know.
Hmm.
Yes, exactly. And that's, I mean, I guess collectively that's really what we're all experiencing, is realizing that yes, there's a falling into, but we don't fall and lose control of. We can
Mm-hmm.
surrender into the strength and power of love itself.
And if I could add that first step, that first key deals with the golden shadow. We do a lot of shadow
Mhm.
work in this process, and there's the
Mhm.
golden shadow. It's the disowned part of our magnificent self we see in
Mm-hmm.
another being, and we go, oh my God, I love that in that other person. So we project this golden shadow. Sometimes it lasts 3 days, 3 months, 3 years, 30
Mhm.
years. But somehow along that journey, that white wash, that golden wash is going to fade
They
away.
shatter our dreams.
And then you see,
Well,
go ahead.
I like the idea though of rising in love
Mhm.
versus falling in love because
Yes.
falling implies, you've got the fallen consciousness. When you
Right.
fall, you get hurt. Falling is very fearful, and
Mhm.
I think the concept of rising in love is probably the new paradigm shift that we need to move into. So,
Mhm.
what's the second step?
So the second step is, he was just talking about the golden shadow is kind of the next week that we go into, and really learning to look within to those disowned parts of ourselves, whether it be the things that we really appreciate about ourselves or the things that we're fearful to look at, because we're
Mm-hmm.
always projecting ourself upon the other, no matter
Yeah,
what
that's
perspective
true.
we hold. And so, like Jason said, sometimes our falling in love is based upon a golden projection on the other, and when they come show
Mm-hmm.
up any way other than that golden shadow, we are disappointed, we tend to run,
Of
we tend to
course.
throw in the towel.
Mm-hmm.
So we really,
So what's the third step?
the third step is humility and harmony, which is really
Ooh.
the key to,
Alchemy.
it is.
Any successful venture.
Right. And I think sometimes as we're balancing this, sometimes one of us is better at it than the other. And we're finding
Yeah.
the more we're able to come to the table together in mutual harmony, not feeling, and humility, not feeling like we have to be each other's teacher, but
Yeah.
that we're willing to take that surrendered position and trust the divine to speak to both of us, we can show up
Well,
and let go of our pride.
well, I'd like to ask Jason, from the masculine standpoint, that can be very, very challenging for a guy to wrap his head around. How can he be humble, but at the same time be standing in his manhood? Because often pride gets in the way of humility, and many, many men fall short of that because of the cultural programming.
Yeah. Well, and thank you for asking. I have had my personal experience of I was part of a spiritual community where I learned early on that in my weakness, I'm strong. When I
Yes.
show my underbelly, the most powerful,
Mm-hmm.
we've learned this before, the samurais, the most powerful
Yeah.
warriors, they'll kneel their head down in honor
Mm-hmm.
because they're not afraid
Yeah.
of death, right? So that,
Right.
that ego death, I've been able to journey going to this place where when I reveal my weakness, I'm not weak. I'm actually
And it
strong.
doesn't make you less of a man.
Not at all.
So Heather,
Hmm.
on the other end of it, with a woman and both of you coming out of the basically fundamentalist Christian backgrounds or indoctrinations, as we've all had our different journeys with religion, but that submissiveness of women and being a doormat for the man and allowing the masculine to lead no matter what, even if he doesn't know what he's doing or if that's not his strength.
Right.
So how do you address that as a woman who is seeking to balance this power struggle?
Such a good question. I will say that there are many times when I find that because of that programmed fear that is really in all of our DNA, and because we in many ways have been programmed to be subservient,
Yes.
it's been a real challenge. But because my pride rises up as the feminine, as the sovereignty piece is coming into balance in my own experience as a woman, surrendering to the masculine because it has so much baggage associated with it, is sometimes a challenge. And so really, I think at the core of it, teaching that the sovereignty comes through surrender, not having to be right, but to be fully in the security of who I am. Because like you said earlier when we were talking, this is a self-esteem issue. When you have really healthy self-image, you're able to surrender in any situation, knowing that something bigger is always guiding and leading.
Well, and I think the surrender without compromise is really critical. And so I think now that brings in a discussion that the three of us had earlier about how, with the new paradigm shift of the divine feminine, finally stepping back into her power as an equal partner in the relationship, not, holding power over the divine male, but this is really about men and women viewing themselves as equal partners, not one looking down on the other. Because, I also have seen within this paradigm shift where women have, are we going into the
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dr.
we're
Grant,
good.
we're about 30
okay.
seconds away. We want to definitely...
All right, you guys got it.
Yeah, we want to definitely go into the new paradigm, what we're doing here. You're on Divine Love Talk on CRN. This is Jason Michael and Heather Powers with Dr. Parthenia Grant. Come back. Stay right where you are, actually. Stay right where you are. We're going to dive deep into balancing these power struggles. How do we do this? So thank you for tuning in. You can also look us up at divinelovetalk.com.
Fred Dry and I want to tell you about Blue Apron. This is a way you can really cook with the right kind of foods, right? They send all this to your home, don't they, Fred?
Yeah, yes, they do. And they knock on your door, and you open it up, and there's a bunch of food in there. You can just go to your kitchen and cook it up.
It's fresh. It's guaranteed to be fresh, and they have so many great food ideas and food meals together. And you can get, listen to this, you can get this week's menu, your first 3 meals absolutely free and free shipping if you go to blueapron.com/dryer, DRYER. You've got your apron on. You going to be doing some cooking tonight?
Yeah, I've got 2 aprons. One's in the dry cleaners, and I got one home in the laundry, but I'm ready to roll.
You're going to love how this Blue Apron, how the food tastes, how it feels. You go to blueapron.com/dryer, and that's Blue Apron. They send the food right to your house. Remember, you get your first 3 meals free with free shipping if you go to the website blueapron.com/dryer, DRYER.
Credit cards are sure fun to use, perhaps a little addicting, and they kind of make you feel rich. Well, if you're like most Americans, you've got over 5 maxed out credit cards in your pocket right now, and you can barely make the minimum payments, right? I'd like to personally recommend a company called DebtHelper.com. DebtHelper.com is a licensed and insured nonprofit debt management agency. They can help cut your interest rates by as much as 50% and lower your monthly payments, saving you thousands of dollars in finance charges on your credit card bills. DebtHelper.com does not lend money. Debt Helper's program could have you paying off your credit card debt in full in a 3 to 5 year period. Call DebtHelper.com right now for your free confidential consultation today. 866-706-3328. 866-706-3328. 866-706-3328. Credit card management services Inc. DBA DebtHelper.com. 1325 North Congress Avenue, number 201, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33401. Down payment of debt may be creditors to increase finance and other charges or undertake collection activity, including litigation.
CRN listeners, when you come to Southern California, stop by a great restaurant, the Dresden Restaurant at 1760 North Vermont Avenue in Hollywood. Enjoy great entertainment, like the music of the legendary Marty and Elaine at the world-famous Dresden Restaurant. The Dresden was the location for the making of the movie Swingers. Now you can swing with stars Marty and Elaine. Plus, enjoy great food too, like French onion soup, artichoke hearts, and many other great appetizers. Seafood, there's salmon, shrimp scampi, New Zealand orange roughy, halibut, Lake Superior whitefish, and specialties like veal marsala, piccata, and parmigiana. Plus, we've got a great roast rack of lamb, chicken piccata, and cordon bleu, and pasta dishes too. Steaks, filet, New York, Chateaubriand for two. Much more too, including pork chops, prime rib of beef, and an incredibly extra large cut of prime rib. It's the Dresden Restaurant, open for lunch Monday through Saturday and dinner Monday through Sunday. Check us out at 1760 North Vermont Avenue or call 323-665-4294.
Okay, we're back. We're back with more of Divine Love Talk, and I ran into the commercial segment, but I did want to complete the thought, Heather, that we were getting ready to get into about how, as a couple and as individuals, how we can address ushering in the divine feminine and balancing that sort of programming of the old patriarchal consciousness. And so I think this is the perfect time to explain, you guys are the powers of love. And then the way that the name is being presented on the show, I'm sure people will have questions about, okay, so this is the new age couple, but we've still got the male whose name is coming first, even though H comes before J. So can you guys address that publicly for the audience in terms of balancing this new movement that we're in?
Absolutely. You know, it was funny because we really had a great chance to talk about it this weekend more and come to an understanding in our own being of why that felt right. And so when we chose to go ahead and go with Jason Michael and Heather Powers, first of all, Jason in the jungle, before we got married in Peru, came to a place in his own being where he wanted to take my last name, which is Powers.
Mm-hmm.
He was Jason Michael Henson, and legally we took each other's names, so we're both Henson Powers officially. But as we are showing up in the world, you know, we've been very tuned into what we're here to bring is the power of love. And so to keep Jason Michael felt really right because that's how he's known. And for me to be able to keep Heather Powers with my name next to each other because that's what I brought to the table. And so in the natural balance, they, you know, Jason Michael and Heather Powers sit side by side, walk side by side together. And the last piece of this really came this weekend for me, but there is a natural yielding that I think the feminine does to the masculine when he's fully in his heart and really embodying the divine feminine energy within his own being. And when a woman knows, you know, I got this, the man is coming forth and saying, I'm going to be a support and serve you. There's a trust that a woman has that she can lean into that partner in a very safe way without being subservient. She's in her own strength. So that's really why we came to that conclusion for us. That's from my own heart.
That's powerful. I'm humbled, and you know, it's a new paradigm, and there is a natural, you know, they're so important and they're so out of balance. And what we're seeing, we've been talking about this conversation with Dr. Grant extensively, and I'm so grateful to have this powerful conversation in this Trinity with, you know, somebody such as yourself, Dr. Grant, who's been studying this and understanding how the ego plays and how the balance and how the oppression. As a young man, I didn't understand the oppression of the feminine presence. It didn't make any sense to me as a young man. I was very close to my mother. And so my journey has been to honor the feminine in my whole life. And it was totally clear for many, many, many reasons I was to take Heather's name in support. But the reason we have it is for balance. It's to demonstrate balance, not to say I'm the leader, But in our relationship, we lead and follow. We switch.
Mutually.
And it is a mutual yielding. It's a mutual surrender. Not that Heather is to surrender to me, but it's not just I'm expected to surrender to her because she's a woman. It's where we surrender mutually to each other's strengths.
Mm-hmm. I think, as we were talking earlier about the rise of the feminine, when a woman knows or a man knows who they are, the yielding comes. There's a natural desire to yield because there's trust that the other is not going to dominate, not going to control, not going to manipulate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I got cut off for a second there, but I'm back in. But thank you so much for taking the time to explain that to the audience. And in listening to you, what I could hear is that...
we're about 30 seconds away almost.
Okay. All right, so let's go into commercial break, but I appreciate the clarity on that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. We're here to just, we don't want to be a stumbling block to anybody, but we're here definitely talking about balance, living is balance. So once again, you are listening to Divine Love Talk on CRN. And this is Jason Michael and Heather Powers, known as the Powers of Love, and with our dear, dear friend and Dr. Parthenia Grant. So stay right where you are. We're going to dive deeper into this balancing the power struggle within the divine masculine and divine feminine.
Come to Angelo's and Vinci's to see the memorabilia of movie stars and theatrical magic right in downtown Fullerton, California. See the art of the masters, an Italian town square complete with storefronts of old Italian butchers and cheesemongers, fruit and wine vendors, seamstresses showing their wares, fairy lights from cathedral ceilings, and our ancestors smiling down at you from the family love altar. The romance of Romeo and Juliet, and find the mystical Room of the Moon. And don't forget King Kong, Dracula, Frankenstein, and who knows what awaits you in the wine cellar. Enjoy the great food. We hand stuff our pastas, roll each and every tortellini, bake our own bread, make our own sauces fresh from our private stock of Sicilian family recipes. From pasta to seafood, chicken to award-winning pizzas, tiramisu flown in from Rome. If you can't find something on our menu to tempt you, you don't like Italian food. Try our Sunday brunch, just $18.95, and Angelo's and Vinci's has been named 2 years in a row Best Italian Restaurant in Orange County. Angelo's and Vinci's Restaurant at 550 North Harbor Boulevard in Fullerton, California. Call 714-879-4022.
Hi, everyone. This is Fred Dreyer with some breaking news. My new movie, Highway 395, has just been released. Highway 395 is my latest movie and is now available for all of my friends and listeners to own. Highway 395 is a classic modern-day Western thriller. Action, romance, and the frontier spirit. It's all there in my new movie, Highway 395. Now, here's the best part. You can own this movie tonight by going to my brand new website, freddryer.co. Head to my website now at freddryer.co and check out the trailer. Then order the movie for a great night of entertainment. And while you're at freddryer.co, check out the memorabilia and my career highlights. But don't forget to order my new action thriller movie, Highway 395. So head over to freddryer.co. That's freddryer.co.
If you're eligible for Medicare, you need to know there is money available to you that can lower your Medicare prescription costs. How much can you save? Find out now by making a free call to Health Markets. They'll search from a variety of nationally recognized plans to find you the right coverage at a price that fits your budget. And they'll do all this valuable research for you at no charge to you. And remember, you may be able to save money on your prescriptions. We'll tell you if you qualify. Why pay a penny more than you have to for an insurance policy? Let us find you the right plan at the right price and see if you qualify to lower your prescription costs. Put our free service to work for you at no charge. Call Health Markets right now.
800-990-0351. 800-990-0351. 800-990-0351. That's 800-990-0351.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is the DBA of InSphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., licensed in all 50 states and DC. Service and product availability varies by state. Agents may be compensated based on your enrollment.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Okay, we're back, getting ready to go even deeper into this topic on balancing the power struggle between the masculine and the feminine. And I'd like to open up by mentioning that I did write an in-depth article about the new movie Wonder Woman and the off-planet origin of the war between the sexes. A lot of people aren't ready to go beyond recorded history that has been disseminated and spoon-fed to humanity, and open up their minds to the deeper esoteric meanings in the Bible about the gods who fell to the earth. So the article does go in depth into helping people understand that the current and historical war between the sexes is a lot deeper than what we could possibly imagine. So what we're doing today in actually having the courage to take on this topic is to say that it's going to be a journey. None of us know where this is going to head. We don't really know our way out of it because we're in uncharted territory. And I'm not saying that Jason Michael and Heather Powers nor I are the authority, the beginning or the ending of this discussion, but I am saying that it does need to take place, and this healing needs to take place, and it has to begin somewhere. Mm-hmm. And so, in terms of the healing aspect of it, what I know for sure as a psychologist is that whenever there has been a deep wound to the psyche of any individual or any group where there has been genocide committed against a group, and you can see it with the Armenian population and their need to have the genocide recognized, the healing cannot begin until there is dialogue about it and until there is this willingness on the part of the masculine to own that there is this very, very deep wound in the psyche of the feminine that makes her afraid to open up to the male, that makes her afraid to trust, that makes her afraid that she's going to be exploited or objectified or dismissed. And that's where it has to start, is with that honesty that, yes, this happened, it is ongoing, and unless we are willing to look at the history, we will repeat it. And so that's where I wanted to take this part of the segment, to looking at the truth about it. And so, Jason, I'd like to start with you as the representative of the Divine Masculine on the show, to talk about what that looks like. Because whenever the discussion comes up with the average male, he feels attacked, he feels like, oh, you're making me responsible for every man on the planet, and that kind of thing. And it makes it very difficult to hold that conversation. Mm-hmm. But I think that you're perfectly capable of leading that discussion because you saw as a child what the masculine was doing to the feminine, and you made some very critical decisions as a young man about how you wanted to be in the world as a man.
Thank you. You know, it does start with a vision. I know that I'm a unique male on the planet. I really, and I don't mean that in an egoic way. I truly just, I feel like I'm not of this world. It's not been easy to be a man. You know,
I feel the same way.
you know, I'm not of this world, and I'm not. You know,
Yeah.
I'm a paradigm buster. You know, a trailblazer in this new paradigm. It's written in my DNA blueprint. I know it, and
And I feel you.
it is, and it's a journey and a half. You know, I journey as a male. You know, I hated my own man. I didn't like being a man. You know, I wasn't. So it's, you know, it's constantly looking at and holding that space, and definitely, you know, when you were saying this, no matter who it is, whatever genocide, because, and I'm an Irishman. You know, the Irish were the first slaves here, and they built the railroads along the Chinese, and you know, at every
well, they
level.
weren't the first slaves. Okay.
You know, I mean,
but they the first white slaves.
The first white slaves. I mean, we were degraded, and so we all have oppression. We've all been a victim. We've all been the victimizer, whether this lifetime or another lifetime. I was not always a man in other lifetimes.
Right.
So, you know, this is a human issue to my heart. This is not unique to a feminine or a masculine, because we each have these energies within each of us. And until we balance these within each of us, we're never going to have the balance in the without. It starts within. If we want peace in the nation, in the globe, we got to have peace in the heart. And this is
absolutely. But Jason, what I'd like for you to address from the masculine perspective is all of that is true, what you just said, but how do you as a man help lead the way in terms of owning, you know, taking ownership? You chose to come in a masculine body for a very good reason.
Yeah.
But there has to be ownership, you know, whenever you're trying to heal a wound or an issue between two people, and one person has hurt the other person, and whether the second person has retaliated or not, it began with a rock being thrown or opening up a wound, and the person who was the perpetrator needs to own that in
Correct.
order for the other person to be willing to accept, I'm sorry.
right.
You know, because until that is owned and looked at, and from the perspective of, I get it, this really was hurtful, and I feel it, you know, in my heart, and from my perspective, I can assure you that you don't have to worry about that from me, and that's all I can really do. But if we did it one male at a time, that's where the healing would actually begin, with taking responsibility. And I know from a paradigm shift perspective, if one male does it, you put that blueprint out there
You know, and
for
that's
other males to follow in your footsteps.
and that's where I'm, you know, I have a men's group that I lead, and it's just this very thing. We're leading men from the head to the heart and living from the heart-centered consciousness, heart-centered living. But it's being raw and real. I go back to the question, you know, you asked, like, when I'm showing my weakness, and showing my weakness is going, look, I messed up, you know, I hurt you, and I'm sorry. One of my favorite things, and I do this with Heather a lot, and I mean it from my heart, the Ho'oponopono, right? I come to, and I just look at her eyes, I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry for the ways I may have mistreated you. I'm sorry for the ways I might have been dominating in this moment. I'm sorry for, but I don't know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Not that I'm sorry being, I'm a magnificent being, but I'm sorry for erring against you. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Those four
how
phrases.
do we take it? So, Jason, how do we take it out of that, okay, I'm sorry, but you know how the Catholics do it? On Sundays, you go and confess, and I'm sorry for my sins, and then on Monday you repeat the same sins. How do we do that? Not say I'm sorry and then go back and do the same sorry thing over again.
Well, I think
go ahead.
You mentioned this earlier in our conversation. Heather brought it up. Self-esteem. Like, if my goal as a man is to be in right relationship with all life, including my beloved, right? And so if I'm continuing to err against her, I'm going to take a good look at myself. But if I'm continuing to err, if I'm continuing to be dominating, controlling, it's because there's insecurity. And I've dealt with my own insecurity as a man. not feeling enough, comparing myself to her. Heather is so magnificent. I call her the golden angel. She's got the Heather magic. We go anywhere. It's like I personally, I'm a dynamic presence. I've been on stage since I was 11 years old. I can hold my own, but it's I've been eclipsed by this beautiful golden angel at times. And so if I'm feeling insecure, I'm being a little less,
than a man.
So
Heather, can you jump in there and expound upon what I'm talking about, where women in general, I've heard them say it so many times, I'm so tired of hearing you say you're sorry, and then you go back and do the same thing over and over again. I'd like for you to address that from the feminine perspective, because I don't think that the average male has gotten to this place where Jason is, where when he says he's sorry, he means I'm sorry and I'm done with that behavior, and you don't have to worry about that again from me.
Right.
That's very rare.
It is very rare, and I know I'm living with an incredibly rare individual in this, which has been required for the background that I came out of, deeply cut off from my own femininity in a lot of ways, being buried in the catacombs of traditional and fundamental Christianity, where, this subservience was that it was subtle, but that's how we lived. And so as Jason, he courageously goes into self-reflection, and it's personal accountability for both of us. When we both take responsibility for either one of our errors, and I'll be honest, a lot of times Jason comes easier with a full surrender quicker than I do, because I can see where that programming and that fear and resistance from it not being that way. But also the distrust as well, right? Absolutely.
For the divine feminine. How many times have we been let down and told, it's not going to happen again, and then this whole learned hopefulness. So I appreciate you admitting that this isn't easy, and I certainly don't want the audience to think that what you and Jason are doing is easy, or that you have completely mastered it, because this is an ongoing journey. But the fact that you guys are cognizant of it, and you're willing to have the discussion and talk about things versus throwing the towel in, that's where the beauty is in loving each other enough that you know that you can work through whatever comes up, because love can handle anything.
And again, I keep saying this is not a feminine masculine issue. This is a human issue. We all want to be loved, honored, respected, and taken care of, given love. And it's a mutual thing that I've always seen. I've never understood the imbalances. It didn't make any sense to me. So in our union...
Well, see, Jason, look, you just said it. You're not even from here, which is why you came here to do that. At the same time, though, yes, it is a human issue, but at the end of the day, the real problem is that the masculine and the feminine is out of balance in both men and women.
Absolutely.
And that is the issue that must be addressed. Yes, you came here at a certain level of consciousness where you were capable and willing, to take that on. I came here at that level of consciousness, and so did Heather. But at the same time, as a psychologist, I'm working with people, and I'm looking at the world. I mean, come on, look at America and how out of balance it is, and look at the world and how out of balance it is. So we have to own that there's a lot of work, that still needs to be done. And by owning that and holding that blueprint, then we are inviting other people to step into that personal work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And not pretending that it's easy.
And no pretending at all. There's just a conversation that I keep having that I've experienced in a mutual respecting place. It's not, I fully acknowledge and I speak to that. I've had, many conversations with sisters around my life that honoring that space where they've been in the pain, they've been raped, they've been abused, they've been dominated, but there is a new, a wounded dog that comes into a good owner's home. That dog is going to have patterns of behavior that have nothing to do with the owner. But the owner's just going to continue giving love, holding that space, that there's nothing but unconditional love here. And over time, prayerfully that dog will learn to trust its owner.
Right. I think part of
That's
Not
very
that I'm an
good,
owner.
Jason.
I'm not an owner here. I'm not saying I own Heather, but I'm just saying that there's this place where I keep holding this unconditional loving, essence that it is trustworthy. It is safe. We have a song that we'll sing maybe next week. This love is safe. It comes back to trust.
I love it.
Do we trust love? Do we trust each other? Do we trust ourselves?
Yeah, that's actually the third week of our program is trust and forgiveness. And we find that if we're not trusting ourselves and taking full accountability and responsibility for our own actions and what they're saying about what's really going on inside of our own being, we can never give trust to another person. You will always find the distrust within you coming out in your relationships over and over again.
And that's both of you have brought up very cogent points about, Jason, you holding that space for her to heal and to learn how to trust the masculine in you that has been wounded in her. And until that safe space is created through honesty and integrity and reliability, and I can certainly relate to wounded dogs because I've rescued a couple of them that were abused as puppies. And the first one, man, it took her like 5 years before you could even get her to play with you. But it was just constantly holding that space for her. And my little 2-pounder, she's just now starting to feel safe. That she's not going to be thrown from pillar to post from one house, or one owner to the next.
Right.
We do have to be patient.
So I was just going to say it's so powerful because the other day there was this epiphany. It feels like what the space that Jason has held has been literally pulling me out of my own catacombs because of my own separation, because of the pain and not understanding really what that pain was and how deep it is. And the work that we do is one choice at a time. We choose that the what we are committed to, and the back door is closed, is that we are going to unravel these layers of pain so that more and more love can be revealed. And it's a choice we all have to make at some point.
And more trust. So
Yes.
we're going to be wrapping this up in the last segment on how we can balance the power struggle between the divine masculine and feminine with Jason Michael and Heather Powers, The Powers of Love, and Dr. Parthenia Grant. Check us out at divinelovetalk.com and check out my article on the Wonder Woman at drparthenia.com.
You're experiencing pain, back pain, shoulder, elbow, or hand pain, pain from a sports injury. If so, schedule a visit with Dr. Michael Sheps, the leading expert in laser therapy for pain management. Call 310-873-4422 or go to drsheps.com. Experience Epic T, the breakthrough laser therapy system that Dr. Sheps developed to make you pain-free in less time. Laser therapy is a non-invasive, safe, and effective in-office procedure that penetrates deep into your skin without damaging the tissue. It perfectly targets areas of pain to promote fast, natural healing. Relax your muscles, ease muscle spasms, joint stiffness, and arthritis pain while increasing blood circulation. For over 25 years, Dr. Sheps has helped Olympic athletes and sports enthusiasts alike get back in the game. Schedule your visit with Dr. Sheps at his Brentwood office in California. Call 310-873-4422 or visit drsheps.com. That's DRSHEPS.com, 310-873-4422.
Mortgage rates are at all-time lows. If you have not refinanced your current mortgage in the last few years, you could be losing thousands of dollars a year by paying too high of an APR. And the place to call is LendingTree to find out how low you can go. We can match you with lenders offering some of the lowest rates APRs available. Some APRs are lower than 3%. Imagine how much money you can save every month if your current mortgage is at 6% or higher. And all it takes is one free call to LendingTree to match you with a lender who may be able to lower your current home mortgage rate. Learn how to potentially save thousands by refinancing your current mortgage. Call LendingTree right now, NMLS 1136.
800-628-5067. 800-628-5067. 800-628-5067. That's 800-628-5067.
The following message is brought to you by Health Markets, your first choice when you need health insurance for your small business. Do you offer health insurance to your employees? Call us now and see if you can save money. Do you want to offer vision and dental to your employees? Call us. Do you think you're paying too much for your current health insurance? Call us. Do you want somebody else to do all the legwork and search thousands of health plans from over 180 health insurance companies nationwide? Call us. We're Health Markets, and thanks to a little-known solution, we could help your business save thousands of dollars on health insurance costs and save your employees money too. Our service is free. Don't miss the great savings. Call now.
800-997-0151. 800-997-0151. 800-997-0151. That's 800-997-0151.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is DBA of InSphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., licensed in all states. Product availability varies.
Okay, as we are wrapping this up, I'd like for each one of us to give our takeaway on this topic for today that we would like the audience to remember on this topic as we continue to dive deeper into this subject matter. So which one of you would like to start off the takeaway?
I'm going to say ladies first.
Ladies first.
Okay, well, Heather.
Well, the thing that pops into my mind is that, you know, when we can look at this on a larger scale and realize, like Jason said earlier, we have all had a part in this in one way or another. And sometimes it's, what do we say, the sins of omission and sins of commission. You know, sometimes we've perpetuated the continuance of this wound. And other times, because we're passive and don't take responsibility, we've done it by default. And so just to realize that we really are all doing this together and to take responsibility, where can I be the change?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and where are we playing the victim?
Yes.
And, you know, what I would like to say is that, you know, the four major isms that I've been teaching for 20 years is about sexism, racism, classism, and nationalism. And I said sexism first because sexism literally divides the entirety of humanity in half. It creates this polarity. And so until men and women realize that we are divine complements of each other and that, you know, as a male, you came here through a female, and that there is, as a male, you have a female component of your personality as well as a masculine, and as a female, you have a masculine component as well as a female. And so the only way that, you know, a man can be at war with a woman is if he's at war with himself. And if he hates a woman, he hates himself. And it's the same thing for a woman. If she is at war with herself and she's not comfortable standing in her own power, and if she feels like, you know, she can't survive without a man to take care of her, which is the old Piscean paradigm, then we're not going to escape it. So the thing is, we can't do this by ourselves. Women can't do this by themselves. Men can't do this by themselves. We have to meet each other in the middle if we're going to survive it, because we've got huge issues in the world today that need to be addressed by men and women coming together to take us to that next level if we are going to evolve as a species. So I hand it off to you, Jason Michael.
Powerful women. I love you both so
I
deeply.
love you both too.
Yeah. You know, I just, it goes back to the self-esteem issue. That really hit me hard because that's where I know in my own journey, if, you know, self-love is the greatest love. Self-love is the answer to all our problems. When we understand we're nothing but love, and how do we do that? That's unique to each of us. But when we go back and rewrite our story of who we are, I think even this whole thing, we can rewrite this story, and we got to start telling ourselves a new story. that we
Yep.
can live in harmony. We can live in balance. I am nothing but love. That's been my journey as a man. And when I'm in that journey of I'm only love, and if anything happens, I go back to the Course in Miracles. Everything that Heather would do or anything that anybody would do is either two things. It's a call for love or it's an act of love. And my only appropriate response ever in my life, if I'm in my right mind, is love only. I extend love, and if somebody's out of their mind, they're clearly insane, I'm going to see it's a call for love, and maybe I just need to let them be, or I just need to give her space, or I just need to, but I don't need to fix it, I don't need to control it, I don't need to dominate it, I don't need to teach it, I don't need to convert it, I just need to accept it, that it is perfect
all
right now.
Well, thank you all for joining us, and we will be continuing this discussion with the powers of love and Dr. Parthenia Grant. And Jason, you reminded me of a line from my song, the 432 Hertz song, Heartbeat, of re-scripting your story from pain and suffering to one of glory. So that's what I'd like to see you guys do. Re-script your story. We'll be back next week with more of Divine Love Talk on CRN at divinelovetalk.com.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
CRN Digital Talk Radio prides itself on being the station of every situation. Of course, you can always listen live through your local cable TV provider, as well as on our website at crntalk.com. But if cutting-edge technology is more your style, you'll be happy to know that CRN is now available on Wi-Fi radio. Simply log on to Reciva.com, that's RECIVA.com, and look for CRN. You can access all of our great shows and listen live anywhere in the world. Be part of your favorite shows and get the full CRN listening experience you would have with any traditional radio, podcast, or a live stream from our website. For more information on where or how to listen, and for a full list of our programming, log on to crntalk.com and create your own listening experience today.
The radio channel